This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
I was talking about this man, the name of Jonah Frick. He was supposed to be on the podcast tonight, but he called me and said he was feeling a little sick. It's like he was calling into work. Like he played it up. He's like, I'm just not feel. I puked. I'm not feel good. I'm a little hoarse.
You better be careful what you say. You still want him on.
Whatever.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
Could be a little different or a little more ideal, but I can't tell you exactly what those are. So I would say, in the whole scheme of things, I feel like I'm living the dream.
It is the 19th of February, 2023. My name is Corey Winfield.
My name's Marnie Winfield.
Living the dream. Your bragging montage just grows.
I guess.
Now, that was from 2021. So that was kind of interesting.
Well, then, I mean, look at this now. It's just the dream gets better.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it really does. And Jonah, that was back in February of 2021. And then the little drop from you was in June of 2021. See? And you would... Well, if I would have told you, hey, this is what's going to be happening in 2023, you'd be like, yeah, better be.
Right.
Wait, why is it taking so long, huh? Mm-hmm. Did you get a job, Winfield? That's what you'd have been saying to me.
Right.
Yeah, I got a job.
I know.
No, it's pretty cool, though, the things that happened. And what did we watch? Well, we watched a couple of crazy movies, but maybe it was the Shia Labeouf thing.
Yeah.
Which I want to get to in more detail here in a minute, but talking about bad things and when they happen. And then Justin Van Farini, he was my old preacher back in Coloma, and he since stepped down from the church and he's building tiny houses. Like, it's crazy. Like he was a video guy. Like, he went to school for that, and he did a pretty good job. He built this tiny house, and then he like time lapsed it, and it was pretty interesting. And I was thinking, wait, he didn't sell his like big house to move into this little shack thing that he built. And no, yeah, he did. And you were just like, honey, this is not giving you permission to do this, to think about it. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I wouldn't even, that looks like a lot of work actually. But he time lapsed it, and it was a really cool video. And he was talking about how he was picked to be on Alone, that show on the History Channel, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was the very, very early stages of it. And he kind of broke the rules by talking about him being selected to go to the boot camp thing. Because he says, first, you got to go to this boot camp thing, and then you kind of see how you do there. And then if you move on, then you move on, So he was talking about how that was a crushing defeat for him, and he wanted it so bad, and he had to like put his life back into perspective after that, because it was such a crushing blow to him when he got eliminated without even being on the show.
Right.
And it's like those moments that I was like, oh, I got to get this done. And then they didn't happen the way I thought they were going to go, or the way I had planned them. And then later you find out, whew, dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
Because if it would have went the way that I wanted to at that time, things would have not worked out. So it's like God kind of steps in and saves us sometimes from those decisions. And I think Justin, even though he didn't make it on Alone, doesn't mean he will never make it on Alone, but I think he's got bigger and better things than that TV show.
Yeah.
Those little tiny houses he's building now, I think it's awesome. And people are asking them, Coloma, Michigan might be the tiny home capital of the world now. After Justin gets done, because he was knocking them babies out in like a couple weeks.
It was really impressive. Like, that takes a lot of skills, and to like have the mindset to be able to put those together.
Yeah. And
like the intuition to like, how is this going to work? And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. He's like, I'm living off the grid.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't like hauling this water back up the hill, but I hook it up to my 4-wheeler. And hey, man, he said that he's learning to appreciate what life's about, and that's about, his family. And it's not about what you have or how big your house is. And the house is pretty small. It's tiny. It might be a little bigger than this office. He said
How many square feet was it?
199.
Yeah, like a little shy of 200 square feet.
Yeah. He's got a bathroom in there. Like, it's crazy. I should pull it up.
It's impressive, crazy.
Yeah.
I could never do it, though. I give people that can live like that total props. Like, I get claustrophobic in like hotel rooms for several days. That's not even like your home.
I know.
You know?
What should I eat? The bathroom's a little small.
They have a shower curtain that covers the bathroom. It's like, wow. I don't even know. They didn't have a refrigerator. They just were using a cooler.
Yeah. It's Waypoint Outdoor Adventures. Look for that on YouTube.
Yeah.
And yeah, have fun. So.
But it just goes to show you that everybody's like ideal kind of way of life or dream to where this is, you know, where I'm at and I'm at my happy point, like where I'm at, you know, content with my world. And this is what I like. And this is how I want it is different for everybody, you know? So good for him.
Yeah. And Shia Labeouf, we share a birthday. So
you're very proud of that.
But no, June 11th is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, my world.
And his.
Mm-hmm. But no, he's got some of the same, what's it called? Astronomical science or witch stuff, or what is it? Geometry? No. We share the same birthday. There's a lot of stars that we were both born under or from or something. I don't know how that works, but yeah, so I feel a little connection to him, you know what I'm saying?
Like your horoscopes are the same.
Yeah, that's what I said with the geometry stuff. So, but he was on the show called Real Ones, and it's hosted by the guy that was on Walking Dead who slept with Rick's wife, who was that one little chick, his real dad, I think.
What's his name?
I don't know, John something. But Real Ones, if you just type in Real Ones, Shia LaBeouf, he talks about, there's one that's like 10 minutes long, and there's one, the whole interview is like 2 hours long. But Shia LaBeouf, he goes into some detail about the stuff that he went through and his drinking and, you know, drug use. And, you know, he had a woman come out and say, oh, well, he did this and did that. And he admits to going, no, I've done really horrible things to women. And he even admitted being in a online meeting, and this woman popped in, and he's like, oh my gosh, that was like the woman I lost my virginity to. And when I was 19, I held a knife to her throat. You know, so he's not proud of that. And he knows he has to move on, and, you know, he can change who he is today. You know, he can't go back and change that drunk, druggy guy that he was in his past, but she kind of forgave him, and he was just kind of like talked about that. And anyway, this woman said he did some other stuff. He's like, I didn't do that, you know, and he's like, and they're accusing me of it. And he's like, this is horrible. And he thought about ending his own life. And, you know, you talk to Josh Brody or Brolin. He's an actor. I don't know. Don't hang out with him. Don't know his name. He was in some movies and stuff, but he's in recovery. And he said Sean Penn called him and said, hey, you know, reach out to John. He's getting on this meeting and you should join. And he did. But he just talked about how things just kind of came around for him. And he was telling the story. And I've heard it before too. It was by Sandy Beach. And he was talking about how this guy, or this is like old, like 1400, like China. And this guy was a radish farmer, and him and his son like did these radishes, and they didn't own the land that they were harvesting the radishes on. So they had to pay the landowner like 70%, and they kept 30. So they were just like barely making it. And one day the horse that they used to plow the field and to harvest the radishes just took off. And the dad at this time was kind of old. And so the son runs in. He's like, Dad, you know, the horse ran off. I don't know what we're going to do. You know, this is horrible. And oh my gosh, you know, we're going to die. What are we going to do? You know, this is travesty. And then the dad was like, oh, well, this isn't, I don't know what this is, but, you know, I don't think it's travesty or whatever. And the guy's like, Dad, but we can't farm. I can't get these radishes out of the ground unless, you know, we have the horse. And the dad's just like, yeah, I don't really know. You know, I don't know what to call it, but I wouldn't call it travesty. And so then a couple of days later, you know, the kid's like out there trying to do his best, and he looks up and he sees the horse come running down the field, and he's got all these Mustangs with him, and he herds him right into the horse gate, and he locks it, and he runs, and he tells Dad, this is a miracle. That horse came back, and he brought all these other horses with him, and my gosh, we're not going to sell radishes anymore. We're going to like sell horses, and we're going to be in the Mustang business and all whatever. And Dad was like, well, I don't know if, that's a miracle. I don't know what to call it. He was just kind of dumbfounded, like, yeah, well, it's still kind of the same attitude as before. And so I was like, man, this is great, Dad, whatever. So he's out, and he's trying to break the Mustangs, and some of them are, really hard to break. And this one, it was so tough that he kicked him, and he shattered his leg. And oh my gosh, the dad came out, heard him screaming in pain. He's like, what happened? He's like, he kicked me, my leg is shattered, Get him inside, and then they get him some help and get him some medicine the best they can, but his leg is just completely like just shattered. And people from the city even came and looked, because they heard about how bad it was. So they came and looked, and they're like, oh man, this is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to you guys, because now you can't break those horses. You don't have the radishes. You guys are done for. Like this is probably your end. This is your demise. Like there's no coming back from this. And the dad kind of says, I don't know what to call it. I wouldn't call it my demise. I don't really know what it is, but it's not, kind of that same dumbfounded attitude. And the son's even just like, Dad, what's going to happen? And I don't know, a day or two later, over the hill, here comes 8,000 samurai. And they come to the house, and the head guy, the head samurai, whatever his name was, Steve, I think, he comes in and is like, hey man, we're getting everybody rounding everybody up. Heard you got a son. We're going to go attack Jeff's village over there, and we need all the men we can. He's like, well, I would send my son out, but see, he's in there laid up. He's crippled. His leg's shattered. The horse broke it all up. He's worthless. Samurai said, let's go. So they leave, and samurai go, and all 8,000 of them get slaughtered. They end up dying. So the moral of that story is kind of like what happens to Justin, to me sometimes, to you, what might seem like the worst thing ever or the best thing ever. It can switch and change with the wind sometimes, and to get too high on a moment or to get too low on a moment, and to just be in the now and realize, well, I don't know why that happened, but there's probably a good reason for it. Mm-hmm. And, just trust your instincts and don't blame God, like that guy when he shattered his leg, that saved his life. Mm-hmm. He didn't know it. And I'm sure it was very painful, but those moments, you just have to kind of take them in and realize, okay, I don't know why that's happening. I don't know why that's not happening, but there's a reason for it. And you go forcing things. And that's what we like to do in addiction. We like to force things because it's got to be our way or no way, because that's just how it is. I don't know why addicts are like that. And I don't know if all addicts are like that. I know I was, and a lot of people that I know are like that, who are addicts. So, because they say it's very selfish, and it's funny how in our using days, we're very selfish. And then when you tell somebody, hey, you're going to have to cut ties with all your so-called friends, you do air quotes to them. Oh, I can't, man. That's my boy. That's my homie, man. Oh, okay. But if he would steal his lighter or something like really stupid, F him. I don't know. Like we'll defend those people sometimes when we shouldn't. Just kind of like we defend the drug, or the use. Like, man, it's not that bad. Mm-hmm. I've just lost everything and everyone in my life, but it's not that bad.
Yeah. I think the thing about, there's so much truth to that, especially the relationships thing in active addiction, because at least for me, it was that being around people that were just as sick as I was, like, gave me comfort. It was like I didn't feel bad about myself because other people were just as bad off, And who wants to hang around a bunch of like productive, healthy people? Because they're going to judge you, and they're going to look at your lifestyle and be like, dude, you're drinking and it's like 11:30 in the morning. Like, what's going on? Or are you okay? Like, what are you sick? Do you have the flu? Why are your hands shaking so badly?
Well, first of all, because there's a race on.
Like normal people?
There's baseball on. There's an event. Oh, and why? Because I didn't take my blood pressure medication.
Right.
Those are my answers.
Right. You know, and I don't know. So I think that's those people when it all boils down and you really step back and look at the relationships, air quotes, that you had with those people, the friendships, as it were, they're not true friendships. And they're very superficial, and they're all just surrounded, and their foundation was the addiction. That's me. I mean, there might be people that stood by your side throughout, you know, but they weren't wrapped on it, at least for me, they weren't wrapped up in it as much as I was. You know, they kept me at a distance, or I kept them at a distance, you know.
Probably both.
Probably both, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and the true friends are out there still. You know, there's people out there that I can call today and they won't go, oh, I'm not answering that because it's Corey.
Right.
They might be busy, but otherwise they would answer it, you know, and just to say, hey, what's Corey doing? What's he want? Mm-hmm. You know, I don't do that as much as I should, but
yeah,
those people are there. My friend Ron, you know, he was in Arkansas with me, and now he's got a podcast called The Radio Days. And he called me the other day and he was like, hey, I got a new episode coming out, and he's interviewing these radio guys from Detroit. And he's doing the video of it now too.
Nice.
And he's like, I wore your 217 recovery hat, man. I was like, oh, sweet. He's like, yeah, I just wanted to give you a little plug on my podcast. You know?
That's awesome.
Like, okay. Thanks, Ron. We'll plug you. Radio Days with a Z. Mm-hmm. And he's got, he said he's finished with his docu-series about radio in Michigan, which was pretty exciting. I can't wait to see it. If you're into radio at all, you know, you'll want to check that out. And even if you're not, it's pretty cool. I like documentaries, and it'll be cool. But he's kind of shopping it around now, and he ran into a snag. I told him he could play music. I was like, yeah, play those songs in there, man. It's an educational piece, because if you're doing something educational, then you don't have to pay the royalties and stuff. And he's like, yeah, but I want to make money on it. So he ended up doing something even better. He took all like the songs out, and he found local musicians from Detroit and around that area. And they were like, hell yeah, you can have our music here, man. Mm-hmm. You know, use it. And why not for them? You know, I'm sure there's some good bands in there. And he was like, it worked out way better, you know, having like local guys, you know, give us their music to use for it. And he's like, some of it, you would just stuff that you would think you heard on the radio. He was like, it's really good.
That's great.
So
I'm excited to see it.
I'm proud of him. He's kind of inspired me to kind of do some of the video stuff that I'm doing. And when we opened the Recovery Center. Okay. Then my friend Scott, you know, he's with the tribe. He's Native American, and he does Wellbriety. And we thought, hey, it'd be great to have Scott come by maybe once a month and meet with people. And in a perfect world, that sounds good. But what day is he coming? Are the people that are going to want to meet with him, are they available that day?
Right.
You know, like there's a lot of things that we can work out. But since I got these cameras, I can have Scott kind of record some stuff, and other people as well, and kind of explaining, hey, here's what we do at Wellbriety, and here's, you know, the purpose of it, and here's what I get out of it. You know, just a little testimonial, if you will, or just kind of an example of why somebody might be interested in it.
Yeah.
You know, we can play those for people, you know, all of them. And that's where it kind of is tricky, because NA and AA are like, well, we don't want to do any promotion. And it's like, well, you don't, but you do. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, I don't know. We'll figure that out. Like I said earlier, if they don't want to do it, I'm like, yeah, and I'll just do the NA thing. I'm like, NA. And people in NA right now get me mad at me. Like, don't be dissing NA. I'm not dissing NA. I'm just saying, if people don't want to come and explain what NA is to people, I'm just going to go on and be like, NA, they hug a lot. Mm-hmm. Go to a meeting, check them out. No, but I think that I think NA can be explained to someone in a video without promoting NA.
Yeah, probably.
Educational piece.
Just figure out how it's described in other
Because a
avenues.
lot of people are nervous, man, when they go to meetings for the first time. AA, NA, all of them.
Yeah.
You know, quite a few NA people that are like, I'd like to go to AA meetings. Just because, like, I don't have to fear somebody showing up with something. I'm like, well, AA meeting, people could show up. I've seen drunk people show up before. You know, people probably high on weed and other drugs. But it's just life. That's the world, man. You know, I don't think that happens just at NA meetings. But I go to NA meetings.
Yeah.
I go to all meetings.
I qualify.
Yeah. if I need a meeting, I go to a meeting, and I've used all kinds of drugs. So I don't feel different, except for when they start hugging me. But no,
That's a you thing, though. That has nothing to do with.
Oh, it's just people hug me.
No, I'm saying that you have a thing if people hugged you at any meeting.
Yeah.
It's not just those meetings.
I don't even like holding people's hands at the end. I'm just like,
you don't even like holding my hand.
I like holding your hand, except when you like pull my hand away to hold some other dude's hand, then I kind of get a little pissy. But
What?
that one time in Ann Arbor, but that's okay. I'm over it. That's a sincerity sniffle.
I'm completely lost.
Yeah, you would be.
Oh my gosh. I seriously am lost, but.
No, speaking of lost, your headphones, like we had in the studio here, we have like little plastic holders that attach to the desk that we can put our headphones on. Well, yours keeps falling. So I took the gummy glue stuff off the back, put a new one on, slapped it back on there, let it sit for 48 hours before I put anything on it. And then I put the headphones back on it. It lasted a day, and then it fell again.
Yeah.
Now it broke. Now it's sitting over by your chair on the little table.
Is it broken or just needs more?
Well, here's the deal. This is where the lost thing comes into play. I remember those little Velcro dots
Yeah.
that we bought. Yeah. I don't know where they're at.
I know exactly where they are.
Oh, because I put them somewhere, and I did your trick. I'm going to remember where these are at. That's what I said, because you said, you know, if you say, oh, I better not.
Say, don't forget.
Yeah.
You need to say, I will remember
Yeah.
where.
So I was like, I want to remember I put these dots right here.
Where are they?
I don't know.
I can tell you exactly where they are.
Okay, because I looked, and I couldn't find them. And I swore because I was like a man on a mission. I took it off, and I even left them on the floor because I never came back in here because I was just looking. And I went right there. And I thought they were over by our keys in that basket, and they weren't. And then I was clueless, and I thought, well, maybe I put them in the drawer here, and I thought maybe there, but I wouldn't have put them there. So I don't know. The trick didn't work for me. Maybe I should have said it like 3 or 4 more times.
They're in a very
I'm gonna
obvious
remember
place.
these are right here. But it just didn't happen that way.
Well, I'll let you know where they are.
Okay. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm old. And I felt older this like past 2 weeks. I felt older.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like 45. It's not funny because I'm 44.
Right.
I'm not even 45 yet, and I'm feeling 45. If this is what 45 feels like, man, I don't know. I'm forgetting things all the time.
Well, I think just a lot's been happening, and I think that might be just like sensory overload, kind of like your brain's like been running high gear for a long time, and stress that weighs a lot on you physically and emotionally. So just give yourself some grace, and
Yeah, and this week's gonna be crazy. I take 2 people to treatment tomorrow. Tuesday, I got something I don't remember. Wednesday, something else going on.
Where's your planner?
I don't remember. And then Thursday, I think I need to meet with Scott Thursday, but Thursday, that can work if we do it in the morning because I really need to meet with Scott. But then we're going to Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Comerica Park, because they're having nonprofit night, and they invited 217 Recovery. And I said, well, if you're going to invite me, I'm going to show up. So don't get it twisted. They're like, damn, we shouldn't have invited him. We didn't think he'd show up. I'm going to show up for your little finger food. I'm going to show up and see what's going on with nonprofits.
Nice.
And how they can help and what we can do and kind of explain to them what we do. And now that we have the recovery center, then that'll be even cooler. You know, so yeah, we got this center. It's pretty cool and stuff. And then in March, there's a recovery community organization meeting, and that's going to be in Ann Arbor. We're going for that. That'll be sweet.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, got this office like 7 days ago. It's pretty cool. Gonna open it up in April. What are you guys doing?
Everybody's got to start somewhere. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So.
And like the recovery center, like we're supposed to do so much for so many different people in so many different counties, you know, and I want to do all that. And I want to volunteer in all the counties that we're supposed to, you know, do stuff for. Charlevoix, Emmett County, you know, these are northern Michigan counties, and just get out there and just show them like what people in recovery do, you know, help out, volunteer, help old ladies across the street, or no, is it old people across the street? They help. 45. Is that why Shinedown wrote that song?
I don't know.
I think that was a gun, what they were talking about, but I don't know. We'll help kids cross the street. How about that? Help them both. We'll help just people cross the street somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. Pick up trash on the side of the road, parks.
I don't know if we're picking up people on the side of the road.
I said I said trash.
Oh. Yeah. Get in the van. Mom always said we were supposed to be picking up trash today.
Oh my gosh.
Get in the van.
Old school.
I go to my hometown. Drive to Coloma. They're not in the grant funding, but I'll be like, hey, get in the van. So, yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting, you know, what it turns into. And I did a podcast a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I don't remember, but I was talking about 6 months from now, I want to go back and listen to that podcast, you know, because I was so frazzled and worried. But in 6 months, you forget what you thought 6 months ago and what you were worried about and what you were afraid of. And you're actually doing it, living in the now, I guess. You know, it's probably what we should call this podcast. Or picking up trash. Probably not that. But yeah, we'll call it something good. But just knowing that we did what we could today. You know, we moved some stuff in to the office. It looks cute, is what you said.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a good thing.
I think it's going to be a great thing. Yep.
I really do. So that's where I'm at in my recovery today. I didn't think about drinking at all.
Right. You're too busy.
You know? And that's something that's very important early on. I'm glad you brought that up, Marnie. You got to replace the drug use, what you did when you were using drugs. And yes, alcohol is a drug. You got to replace that with something. It's really hard at first. It was for me. Do I like to paint? I went and spent a lot of money at Home Depot. I like to paint. I'm just not very good at it. And everybody thinks everything I paint's a vagina. So whatever. There's worse things.
I guess so, yeah. It's true.
Could be painting penises.
Could be.
With clown hats on them. I could.
I know. Good.
But instead I paint abstract art and everybody thinks it's a vagina. Whatever. So, but it's still that movies, TV, like I didn't know what I liked. And then I realized I didn't like all the stuff I was watching when I was drunk. I was like, this is stupid. Like, how can I do this? And it took me a while to even watch TV. I think we were married when I started finally really kind of watching TV again. Because I just kept myself busy with other things.
Yeah.
So it's very important, you know, early on, you got to replace it with something. Meetings, go to church, read books.
Yeah.
You know, volunteer. But if you just go home and sit there, yeah, you're going to be bored because you're just going to sit there and think, oh man, I would be using right now if I wasn't sitting here bored.
Mm-hmm.
Let me call up homeboy. Let me call up homegirl. Maybe she'll come over and, she probably has some drugs, but I'm not going to ask her for any, but if she has some, because a lot of people do that shit thinking, well, I didn't know she had any. I didn't know she was going to bring over drugs. Yeah, you did. That's all you guys ever did together. Why would you even call her? Why would you even call him?
Yeah.
That's all you guys have in common.
Yeah.
Call your old friends, the ones that you stopped talking to, call them up. Because the reason why they stopped talking to you is because drugs, because you were still using and drinking. The last time you called them was probably ask them for some money.
Right.
Hey, Tyrone, can I borrow $20? It gets old, man. And then those people stop answering the phone. But if you call them and say, yo, I just want to say what's up, let you know how I'm doing. And I know that we didn't leave off on the best foot, me always asking for money, and you knew I was going to buy drugs with it. And I just wanted to say, man, that I'm giving this recovery thing a shot, and they're going to tell you that they're proud of you, but they're also going to keep a distance still.
Yeah.
And that's acceptable. That's more than acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you expect that you're just going to tell somebody, hey, I'm in recovery now, man? And they're just going to think, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I believe every word out of your mouth. Nope. Doesn't work that way. They might look at you and nod their head. But when they don't answer the phone again, it's because they knew you were bullshitting them and they just don't have time for that.
Yeah. It takes time.
Yeah, I don't call people out right to their face. I just stop talking to them. Because if I call them out, they're just going to get, in denial and get all mad. And I'm like, I don't even want to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. And our cats are like breaking into the office.
Oh my
There
gosh.
they are. Busted the door open again. If you want to like a cat, email Marnie at 217recovery.com.
I'm impressed, actually, but it's not helpful to know that they can open the door.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, are we having that bad of a podcast that they think they need to come in here and help us out?
I guess.
That was the other day. We couldn't talk.
Right.
Anyway, maybe that's a sign. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe
it's not a bad thing. Maybe that's just like wrap it up.
Yeah.
So 217recovery.com is our website. We'll have our address on there and our business phone number. I know a lot of people have been requesting that. And it's like, well, there's a reason why we don't put a phone number on there, but we will.
We will have a business line.
Absolutely. And if you have any ideas, suggestions, something you would like to see in a recovery community, or maybe you got something going on in your recovery community and you live in Virginia or North Carolina or Arkansas, wherever.
Wherever you are.
If you're doing some cool stuff, man, let us know.
Yeah, for
We'll
sure.
steal the idea and let you know how it works here. But for real, reach out, Corey or Marnie at 217recovery.com. It's Corey at 217 or Marnie at 217, not Corey or Marnie.
Right.
So anyway, you can find the email. It's on the website. We have an app that's free as well. Get that while you still can. 217 Recovery Podcast, I think is what you have to search in the Apple Store, and probably the same thing with Google Play. So
yeah,
get that and sign up to win a free shirt. And we will talk to you sometime in the future.
Everybody have a great night.